Who cares? So I'm pretty sure we all know at this point that Mario Party 9 wasn't the most well-received game of all time or anything. People really didn't like the changes that it made to the Mario Party formula, mainly the car. In previous Mario Party games, everybody was free to move around a giant game board and do basically whatever they wanted. Mario Party 9 threw that out the window and shoved everybody into a car and forced them to act like they like each other. And since you're all in one vehicle, instead of a large open board where you can go wherever you want, it's a fairly linear path from point A to B. Even as someone who actually likes Mario Party 9, I have to admit, after all the criticism they got, they should have gone to the formula from Mario Party 8 and before. So let's see if they fix the main issues with Mario Party 9 with its successor, Mario Party Island Tour, less than 2 years later on November 22nd, 2013. Now, why is it called Island Tour? Does it take place on a tropical resort or just an island in general? Guess why I'm asking that question? The answer is no. No, the game takes place on these weird islands in the sky called the Party Islands. Whoever was naming the stuff in this game should really get a raise. They came up with a good name there. And you're really gonna try to sit there and tell me NASA hasn't seen these things? Like, come on. So I want you to guess how Mario and friends get to these islands. You might be thinking something like an airship, a warp pipe, a flying car. No, they get trapped in bubbles and float up there. That's the main theme of this whole game outside of the islands themselves. Bubbles. I'm not joking. So we go from Mario Party 9's main theme being mini stars or just stars in general, to bubbles. Talk about an upgrade. So the bubbles take everybody up to the floating islands, which represent the different game modes. We've got 5 to choose from. Party and minigames are exactly what you would expect. Streetpass minigames are something scientists are still trying to figure out to this day. Bowser Tower is the single player mode, and collectibles are again exactly what you would expect. I'll be talking about literally everything in order. So I'll start with Party, then go to minigames, and then Streetpass minigames, and so on. So let's start with Party, or as you might have expected me to say, let's get the party started, but I wasn't going to say that because I'm not that corny. So when I said I was going to talk about everything, I was lying. Sure, I'm going to go more in depth on the boards as opposed to last time, but I'm still not going to mention every little detail. And there's a few other things later on in this video that I won't talk about, but we'll get to there when we get to there. So the party mode is completely different yet again. I'd consider it more of a mix between the new style and the old style. They're still extremely linear, point A to B, but they got rid of the car, so everybody's on their own again. It's more of a race to the end this time around, I guess. There's 7 of them in total, so let's get this started. Perilous Palace Path. So have you ever played Board Game Island on Wii Party? Because that's exactly what this is. The gameplay is literally identical. You play a minigame after every turn to determine what special dice block you'll get. There's obstacles along the way to the end that you can only pass by rolling a certain number or higher. It's in a video game developed by NDCube after the year 2009, etc. Even down to there being a volcano area about halfway through that you don't want to get stuck in. It's just Board Game Island, but with a new Super Mario Bros. Mario era coat of paint on it. This is literally just a repackaged, worse version of it. And Board Game Island already wasn't my favorite board in Wii Party. I'm more of a Globetrot fan personally. I mean, it's technically an okay board. So is Board Game Island, but it's just so generic and forgettable. It doesn't do anything wrong, at least not by law, but it for sure doesn't do anything right. All that being said, it's not terrible. In fact, it's probably one of the better boards in this game, which doesn't bode well for the rest of this segment. Bonsai Bill's Mad Mountain is just a really short board if you're looking at it, which it is, but there's a twist. They replace the 6 on the dice block with a Bonsai Bill symbol, and if anybody lands on that, either the whole top row or bottom row will be eliminated. So you actually have to consider the risk versus the reward. You can continue to go forward and try to make it to the end, but there's a pretty big chance you're going to get shot by a Bonsai Bill. Or you can play it safe and hide, but it'll take you longer to get to the end. And that's all I really have to say about this board. The only other thing I have to add is that the name is completely outdated because they changed the name of Bonsai Bill to Bomber Bill. Yes, they're the same thing. If you say there's something different, you're lying and you're wrong, and I think you don't know how to use Google. Star-Crossed Skyway is the longest board in the game, lasting anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes. But I still don't really have that much to say about it. There's a few of these star stages along the way to the end that you want to get to as quickly as possible so you can get the most mini stars. The theming is okay, I guess. It's just a fairly generic Mario Sky World thing. Like I'm sorry, I just don't have anything to add to these boards. They're just so boring. I mean, and it's probably the best board in the game, if not just below Perilous Palace Path. But I just don't have anything to add. It's so boring. Rocket Road. The main gimmick of this board are the boosters that multiply your roll. It's also apparently entirely possible to make it from the beginning to the end with one roll. I don't really care for this board either. Mainly because when I was playing it while writing this script, it really made me mad because I had 5 boosters and I rolled a 0. And 5 times 0 is 0. I'm still fuming about that today. It genuinely made me so mad that I closed the game and didn't even finish the board. This board is literally just a path to the end. There's no alternating routes or anything, and it's just short too. I guess the theming is the best out of all the boards, but it's not really all too unique. Stuff like this has been done in Mario Party before. And even if it wasn't done in Mario Party before, it just snatches elements from Mario Galaxy and the Rainbow Road courses from Mario Kart. Kamek's Carpet Ride. I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't play this one, I just didn't have it in me. I already know it's just gonna be a boring linear board from point A to B with a stupid gimmick that I don't care about. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And the best part is, Shy Guy Shuffle City. I can't play this one either because you need actual people to play it with for some reason. I do remember playing this one once, and at no point did I think, I can see why you need actual people to play this with. It just feels like a marketing thing, so you have to go buy more 3DSs. And I remember thinking this board was horrible. All that effort just to be disappointed. I also don't remember there being any music for some reason. I don't know if there's just not a music track or the game was glitching, I don't know. Bowser's Peculiar Peak. This board is actually not that bad because it has an interesting concept. Instead of wanting to roll high numbers, you want to roll low numbers. Because if you make it to the top, you get assaulted. And the bonus dice blocks are reversed. So if you get first place, you don't get one. And if you get last place, you get a golden one. The only thing I would have changed is making the whole game reversed, like having reverse minigames from Mario Party 9, which would basically mean you'd want to lose. But even without that, it's still kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. This board promotes child abuse. In Mario Party Island Tour, we have 4 sections of minigames, much like Mario Party 9. General, Boss, Puzzle, and Extra. The General section has 12 pages. Thankfully, it's only 6 minigames per page, unlike Mario Party 9 where it was 20 per page. Let's get this over with, because I'm really stupid and basically forced myself to review every minigame since I did it in the Mario Party 9 video. I will not be going into much detail about each minigame. Basically a 1-sentence description and a 1-sentence review. Claiming the cube. Walk around this planetoid cube thing and ground pound these panels. It's not terrible actually. Rope a slope. Slide down and jump over the trees. It's okay, but it's really easy. Tragic Carpet Ride. Just don't fall off the carpet while it's being eaten by the Mattermouths. It's really basic and doesn't stand out at all to me. Sure, fairly obscure enemies like this make me clap like a chimp, but that doesn't necessarily make this a great minigame. Stretch Run. Pull back your cart using the rubber band so it'll launch forward. You don't want to pull back too far because then your cart will fall off the edge. But then you can't pull back not too far because then you'll just sit there and not get any points. I actually kind of like this one. It's nothing crazy, but watching people fall off the edge is pretty funny. Grid is good. Pick a piece to place on this grid of numbers. Whatever numbers you place your piece on will be added up and you'll receive that many points. If nobody lands on the same tile as you. If that happens, neither of you will get the points on that tile, but you'll still get whatever only you pick. You got that? I mean, it's decent, but at the end of the day, it's just another one of those mind game mini games. You don't want to pick the most points because obviously everybody else is going to go for that. You don't want to pick the least points because you want more points. So you end up just going for the middle. Everybody else thinks the exact same thing as you, so nobody ends up getting anything. Color Me Fast. Use your stylus or cartoony finger pointer to color the fruit. I can't say that I hate it because I actually kind of like this one, but it's literally just random scribbling to win. Musical Snares. Tilt the 3DS to collect music notes. Silver ones are worth 1 point while gold ones are worth 2. I don't really care for this one. I'm not that big of a fan of tilting the 3DS for games. It gives me Mario Galaxy Ball level PTSD. Buzz a Fuzzy. Move the 3DS around to aim your arrow, then pull back on the circle pad and let go of it to fire. Your goal is to hit as many of the fuzzies as possible, even though they're not doing anything and just minding their own business. I know I said I don't like ones where you have to move the system around just a minute ago, but I actually kind of like this one. It's pretty satisfying to kill a bunch of innocent fuzzies for no reason. Cannonball. That's a real creative name there, guys. Good job. Spin the circle pad around as much as possible to crank up the cannon so you get fired farther. I don't think that's how cannons work. Imagine you're in the middle of a war and you've got to load the cannon, but before you can shoot it, you have to do this. I think you'd die. Anyway, it's whatever. They're just lucky that this isn't on a console with an actual thumbstick, because I'd get blisters on my palms. Goomba to maneuver. You have to try to lead as many Goombas to the end as possible, and they'll die if they get hit by a spike. It's decent, but it feels fairly slow. Kebab and weave. Don't get hit by the skewers. I mean, it's fine, but it's very generic. There's so many Mario Party minigames that feel just like this. Tap dash. Break out your pointer finger again. The top screen will show a rotating 3D model of a random Mario enemy, and you have to find it and tap it on the touchscreen. I mean, I like it, but it's objectively kinda weak. This is one of the least interesting Mario Party minigames out there. It's essentially just a really basic version of Where's Waldo. Tanks a lot. The tragedies of war. It's just so sad. You have to move around and hit somebody at least 3 times. It doesn't have to be the same person, you just have to hit somebody 3 times. Xylophone home. This is the rhythm game minigame of this game. How many more times can I say game? Basically just tap the correct note on the touchscreen at the correct time. It's an okay minigame, I kind of like it, but it's really tough when using the pointer finger. Mild Gunman. This is the only pro Second Amendment Mario Party Island Tour minigame. It's really simple, just press the button shown as quickly as possible so you can shoot it. It's okay, but fairly forgettable in my opinion. I don't really know how it's so forgettable because it's just so pro right to bear arms. Spin the bubble. No, not the bubbles that take you up into the sky. Just tilt the 3DS system to position the figure in the same way that it's shown on the touchscreen. I hate this one so much. I've always found this one extremely obnoxious and annoying because it just never seems to work the way that I want it to. Rat-a-tat flat. Kill rodents. Tile savvy. Complete the slide puzzles as quickly as possible. But you only ever have to move like 3 tiles at most, so it's really easy. Which I mean is fine, but like a lot of things in this game, it's really forgettable. If I wanted a real digital slide puzzle, I would just play Tomodachi Life. Hide and Splat. Basically the rat minigame from earlier, but instead of the rat, it's you, and instead of you, it's those face box things from Mario 64. Slow Glide. Do everyone's favorite thing, tilting the 3DS to pop balloons. It's not as bad as some of the other ones because you can only go up or down, but like most things in life, it would have been better if I could have just used the circle pad. Sub Trouble. Move your submarine by, guess what? Tilting the 3DS. Wrong. You used a circle pad. Yes. It doesn't really help things though because this minigame still kind of sucks. I mean, it's fine, but all you're really doing is moving to avoid rocks. It's just really not that fun because it's so slow. And I get that's how submarines are in real life, but this is Mario Party Island Tour, not real life. At least I don't think it's real life. Garden of Eden. No way they put a reference to Genesis 2:15 in Mario Party Island Tour. I never thought I'd see the day. Random biblical reference aside, this is just another purely luck-based minigame. Just pick a pot and pray that you don't get a piranha plant. Boo. Peep-a-peepa. It's ghost murder. Tilt the 3DS around so you move your flashlight, which will blind the peepas and kill them. I can't say that I'm a fan. You already know how I feel about tilting the 3DS. And you should already know how I feel about killing ghosts. Puzzle Pronto. This, and I'm being completely dead serious when I say this, might be the most in-depth and content-rich Mario Party minigame of all time. This is because it's technically 4 minigames in one, kind of, sort of. And all of them use the touchscreen. The first one is easily the worst out of all of them. You just tap the mushrooms as fast as possible. It's not really much of a puzzle now, is it? Unless you're really dumb and it's just like a puzzle to use. I'm making fun of people for being dumb, but I can't talk. The next one is alright, I guess. It's basically just one of those shape puzzles for babies. You just match up the correct item with the correct silhouette. The third one has you rotate pieces of a pipe, I guess, to fix it. It's alright, I guess. The last one isn't really much of a puzzle either unless you don't know how to count. That's because it's just tapping the numbers in order. Here I am making fun of dumb people again when I'm probably gonna stutter for 2 million years while trying to read the next minigame. So those were all 4 mini-games in Puzzle Pronto. I have no idea why they're all one game when they could have easily been split into 4. And it's actually kind of annoying that they're all one because it makes it impossible to pick whichever one you want. It's all randomly selected. Truckin' and Cluckin'. You grab chickens. So you hold on to the chicken for as long as possible without getting assaulted. While holding on to it, it'll start to lay eggs, which give you points. Later on in the minigame, gold chickens will appear, which give you 2 points per egg. Guys, I think I just solved our egg problem. All we've got to do is just grab the chickens and run around in a circle with them without getting punched in the face. I like this one just because of the absurdity of it. It's really funny to punch a ghost in the face so you can steal a chicken from it. This is like the fastest Mario Party minigame of all time. Just fly over as many tiles as you possibly can with your magic carpet. Doing this will flip them to your color and you want as many tiles of your color as possible. The game literally takes like 6 seconds to play. The time it takes for the game to count the tiles and then load to the results screen takes longer than the game itself. It's alright, I mean it's obviously way too short, this could have been multiple rounds, but still it's fine. Get real, like Instagram reels? You just have to line up the frame with the one shown on the touchscreen. I actually really like this one because it's a fairly unique concept. Top this. This is basically the diabetes version of color correction. And I'm only saying that because you want the most of your thing on the screen. In this case, being fruit on top of a cake. This one's okay, I mean it actually has more than 6 seconds of gameplay, which is more than I can say for color correction. Slip and slip. So get this, you're on a giant ice cube, you know, average day for us normal folk. Then the plot twist happens. Penguins. Just don't get killed by the flightless birds. I mean, it's fine, but very generic. I feel like there's so many don't get pushed off the ice cube by the penguin minigames. Pachinko Wizard. So this game is actually really crazy because it subverts your expectation. Just judging by the name, you'd think it'd be a fairly normal pachinko game, maybe with a wizard theme or something. You know, drop the ball and hope it lands in the spot with the most points. But here's where the crazy twist happens. Instead of you dropping a ball, you are the spot. You have to try to guess where the spiny is going to land so you can pick that spot and not die. I mean, the concept is kind of interesting, but at the end of the day, it's just another random luck game, so I can't really say that I'm a fan. No traction action. I'm not a fan of this one. You just go around an icy circle 3 times. The ice physics are very annoying, which I get is probably the point, but still. Blown hover. This one's alright, you just move left to right and jump to avoid these flip panels. Slow G. This one can rot for all I care. It's just a painfully slow platforming challenge where you can fairly easily get knocked down a good few levels if the game hates you enough. And since it's Mario Party Island Tour, this game hates everyone and everything. Spin and bear it. You choose which part of the wheel you want to stand on, and then the game will randomly select somebody to spin it. And if you land on the certain spot, you're out. It's just a completely luck-based minigame designed to make you hate whoever last spun the wheel. It's not great. And you know what? I'll go out and say it. It's bad. Fisticlouds. This is the perfect minigame after those last 2 ones made me despise each and every one of these characters. This is just one of those good old-fashioned physically assault each other kind of games. You can punch and jump. The platforms will move around, making it harder to stay alive too. It's decent, but I don't think it's the best of the physically assault each other games in Mario Party history. Starring artist. It's the return of the constellations from Mario Party 9. Or the real life night sky. Pick whichever one you want. Although I'm going with Mario Party 9 because I like that one more. You have to look at these lines on the top screen and try to find the constellation within the stars on the bottom. It's really iffy on whether or not it wants to work sometimes, and that's definitely not because I'm using a finger pointer from Dollar Tree. Pokey Corral. You just have to avoid the pokies and don't fall off the slippery sand. I blinked and I already forgot everything that happened in this game. It's so generic. Hair Today. You have to grab these rabbits and shove them into a fenced area. There's definitely not enough room for all of them in there, but animal cruelty is a made-up thing anyway. It's most similar to that chicken one from earlier in the fact that you're grabbing animals. It's fine. I definitely prefer the chicken one though, because that's solving a real-life problem. This one is just shoving rabbits into a cage. Great Bars of Fire. Have you ever seen one of those videos of a kid in a bouncy castle with the rotating bar things and they get knocked out? That's exactly what this is, but with fire. We should make this in real life. I mean, it's okay. It's definitely very generic, though. Deck Hunt. It's Mario on a skateboard. Awesome. You just have to move around while avoiding the spiny eggs and collecting coins. It's not bad, but it's far from the greatest Mario Party minigame of all time or anything, which means by Island Tour standards it's actually really good. Paddle Skedaddle. I do not like this one. You have to swipe left and right on the touchscreen to move your canoe. It's just very awkward to control and not very fun. Okay, so listen carefully because the controls on Fuel Me Once are so complicated. You have to press the A button. This meter will fill with you being able to see it for a bit, then it'll get covered. You just have to estimate when it's going to fill to the right spot. It's essentially just a reskin of that Wii Party timer minigame if you know what I'm talking about. So it's just one of those minigames that exists. Get Along Goomba. I actually really like this one. It's shocking, I know. I actually like a Mario Party Island Tour minigame. Somebody should slap me. Not to make sure I'm not dreaming or anything, but because I've spent this much time talking about Mario Party Island Tour. You use the stylus to draw circles on the touchscreen to increase the size of the lasso, then you slide forward to capture Goombas. It's a risk versus reward kind of game because you can take the extra time to make the lasso bigger, but by the time you do that, there might not be any Goombas left. This is easily a highlight of the game. Cheapers Keepers. This one is also a highlight actually. It's just a better version of Mild Gunman. And by that I mean it's just a minigame where you press the button shown as fast as possible. Although on this one you have to mash it instead of just pressing it once. So we've all wanted to play golf using the 3DS touchscreen before, haven't we? Well, this minigame finally answers all of our prayers. Unfortunately, this one's not that great. You just slide in the directions of the panels that have the most points and don't hit the ones with negative points. I mean, it's not terrible by any means, but after all the time we've waited for a touchscreen golf minigame, I wish they had done better. Hop Till You Drop. This is the Mario Party Island Tour version of those Chinese factory incident videos. It's another platforming game, just make it to the end without falling and dying. It's alright, but again, fairly generic. Helter Shelter. It's a completely luck-based game. Just grab a shell and hope it has the most pearls. You should probably know how I feel about these games already. Meteor Melee. Melee? Like Super Smash Bros. Melee? I suddenly feel like never using deodorant or taking a shower ever again. Catch stars and not meteors, and this one uses both the top and bottom screen at the same time in an interesting way. They'll fall from the sky on the top screen and you have to line that up with the shadows on the touch screen. I am terrible at explaining things, but speaking of terrible, not this minigame. It's actually not that bad, and I like the way it uses both screens. It's nothing amazing, but I'm just looking for something decent here, guys. Bumper Thumper. It's another knock everybody off game, except in this one you can only move by boosting forward in whichever direction you pick. So if you pushed left on the circle pad, you were going left in a straight line. You can't turn at all. It's a little weird to control in my opinion, but I'm guessing that's just by design. It's not as good as the other knock everybody off game, but it gets the job done when you really want to kill Daisy. Horror Harriers. This is the scariest Mario Party minigame of all time. You get abducted by ghosts. It may just seem like your standard don't touch the bad thing game, but when there's ghosts involved, you know it's gonna get really scary. This is just an okay don't get touched game even though it's really scary. The only good thing about it is that you can watch Boo get abducted by ghosts. Like, aren't you guys cousins? Can't you just talk this one out? Cheap Diamonds. It's basically one of those ball under the cup games where you have to follow the one cup with the ball under it, except it's aquatic themed. Don't lose sight of the fish that's eaten the most diamonds. Why diamonds? That it's okay to feed fish diamonds? That the more they have, the better? Seriously, Nintendo, you need to consider these things when you're making games. I'm gonna send them a very angry email. I mean, like, were the devs in a board meeting stressing what to make the fish eat in this minigame? So the one guy was like, you know that unpaid intern, he made some pretty nice diamond models the other day, let's just use those. And why are the diamonds gold? I get that it's so it doesn't blend in with the water, but that just makes me question even more why they chose diamonds. Like, couldn't they have used fish food or something? Despite all of the confusion, this is an okay minigame all around. I mean, it's really difficult to mess up such a simple concept, although I wouldn't put it past Mario Party Island Tour to do that. It's just like, why diamonds? Slip Knot. Oh no. So tilt the 3DS so you don't fall off the edge and die. Not great. It's like, why are they so obsessed with the gyroscope? I get that it's a gimmick of the 3DS, but nobody cares. They didn't even utilize the 3D all that well. To be fair, I don't think a single 3DS game did, but my point still stands. And this isn't even the end of it, there's like 4 or 5 more minigames that use it. I don't get what the obsession was. It doesn't work that well. It's just annoying, especially when I'm trying to get footage and I don't have a 3DS capture card. So I'm having to move all around the room while trying to keep in frame. It's just really annoying, and I'm kind of being over dramatic, but it's still really annoying. Still thinking of things to add to that angry email. Trounce and bounce. You're falling. I was gonna try to read this all dramatic, but I don't feel like doing that anymore. You just don't want to fall. My main issue with this one is the depth perception. It's probably better if you use the 3D effect, but I'm not doing that. You can't make me. Mad ladders. So some moron didn't install the ladders correctly. Now we have to hop back and forth between them while some incredibly rude guys throw rocks at us. It's just another average one, but it uses both screens simultaneously, which looks neat, I guess. Squish You Were Here. It's another Mario Party staple, the incredibly gruesome squishing minigame. Again, this one's just okay and very forgettable, outside of the noise it makes when you get squished. I mean, I swear I hear bones cracking. Go with the flow. So I think we all know that penguins in the Mario universe are incredibly irresponsible parents, but for some reason we have to risk our lives to give this penguin her kids back. So you have to go back and forth across this icy river without falling in. And I'll just add that when you fall in, you respawn, but the penguin you had sure doesn't. That's all I'll say. I mean, it's alright, but I don't get why we're giving irresponsible parents their kids back. And also the ice physics are kind of annoying, but that's a given. They're ice physics. Pool buoy. I for some reason had very vaguely remembered this one, even though I hadn't played this game in a few years. You're trapped in a ball in a pool, and you have to slide around on the touchscreen to move around. Your goal is to collect as many flags as possible. I can definitely see why I remember this one though, it's actually really fun. Although it's definitely part of the reason as to why my 3DS touchscreen looks like it's been through war. They should 100% revisit this concept in a Mario Party game on the Switch 2 using the mouse controls. Amp My Style. Back to the Don't Die games. The amps will form various weird shapes that you have to stay inside of. Okay. Magmathon. Yes, it's a press the correct button as fast as possible game. I find it funny how the description says false steps will waste time. Look, I'm sorry, but in a situation like this, wasting time is the least of my concerns. 6 out of 10. I'm not rating any of the other ones, just this one. Shrub Hubbub. Cut bush branches into the correct shapes by swiping with the stylus. This is another just okay one. The sliding doesn't work sometimes, which can get a little irritating. Like it'll start the cutting animation and then just stop for some reason. And if you blame the finger pointer, I will get mad at you. Quickest Cricket. This is actually one of the few minigames I remember from Island Tour, probably because it's just so weird. You control this giant robotic cricket thing that you're riding on by pulling back on the circle pad and letting go to fling yourself forward. It's just an odd minigame. I don't think it's terrible though, I guess. But I don't like how the crickets look, they creep me out a lot. Diamond a Dozen. So the diamonds are blue this time, so that's an improvement over the fish eating game. I'm not really a fan of this one because it's essentially just another chance-based minigame. Sure, if you're able to pay attention to 6 things at once, then yeah, it's a skill minigame. I am not one of those people though. So if you're anything like me, you just pick 1 or 2 to pay attention to and hope you chose the right 1 or 2 to watch. Flip Out. It's kind of a button masher, but there's a little bit of strategy involved called patience. You don't want to just mindlessly mash the A button because if you do, you'll inevitably land on one of the platforms that's about to flip. And when it does, you'll get sent back a few spaces. I can't say that I entirely despise this one because I don't, but it certainly didn't leave much of an impression. Bob-Omb Aplomb, I think. This is another perilous situation Mario and friends have found themselves in. So you're on these rock pillars and bombs will start raining from the sky. You've got to either kick them into the lava or onto your opponent's pillars. If you wait too long, they'll explode and you're out. It's an okay minigame, I guess. I mean, it's pretty good for Island Tour standards, though. Gyro for the Gold. This one really brings back the Mario Galaxy Ball level trauma because it's essentially just another one of those levels. You tilt the 3DS to guide your ball to the end of the level. It's not as bad as the Galaxy levels, far from it, but I would still rather not play all of this. Point and shoot. Man, they really like using apostrophe in apostrophe instead of and. Unlike the name might imply, this isn't the second gun minigame. Instead, you're moving the system around to take 3 different pictures of different characters. Only one person is allowed to take a picture of each character, so if somebody's already got Shy Guy, you're out of luck. I'll admit, I kind of like this one. It's one of the best of the motion control games, but again, the circle pad, it's right there. Like, come on guys, it's right there. Like, right there. Match Faker. So we're on to the final 3 free-for-all mini-games. Oh wow, it's actually a good use for the touchscreen, that's surprising. You just have to take notes on the touchscreen about what's on the top screen to help you remember where these specific enemies are. Your best bets are to either just use letters or have no shame. Skide and Seek. This is another note-taking game. You have to keep track of how many paratroopers and paragoombas are in the cloud. But be careful because sometimes they'll leave and it'll make it harder to keep track. I don't really like this one as much because I'm too stupid to keep count. And lastly, we have Utter Nonsense. This game requires 1 to 3 other opponents. Computer players are not available. Okay, so I guess I won't be talking about this one because you need at least 1 other person to play with, and I don't really feel like asking anybody to play Mario Party Island Tour with me. Thankfully, there's a single player version later on in the extras area, so I'll talk about it then. Oh boy, boss minigames. There's 6 total, so there's not as many as there is in Mario Party 9, but oh well. These are designed for the single player mode Bowser Tower, which I'll get to later. But why is that important? Well, it's because you can only play these minigames in single player. So a change they made was giving you a health bar. For some reason, I thought this was really cool when I was younger. I don't know why. It makes them feel more like boss battles than just rebranded minigames. Which yes, that's what they are, but still. Goomba Tower Takedown. Harass the local wildlife. So you see there's these Goombas and they're just kind of minding their own business, but you decide to throw an apple at them. Oh, I'm sorry, red nut. No, come on, these are apples. When you hit the stack with one of the fruits, it'll fall over in a fairly convenient line. Then you have to take one of the tree creations to throw it at the line and kill them. And you go through a few rounds of this and then you win. And now obviously since this is the first boss, it's really easy, but it definitely does feel more like a boss fight than the ones in Mario Party 9. I mean, what is Bowser's Block Battle? Now before we move on to the next minigame, I'm curious as to what happens when you die. Huh, you lose. I never would have seen that coming. Chain Chomp's Lava Lunge. This one kinda stinks. You basically just have to bait the Chain Chomp into jumping on the metal grate so it burns itself in the lava. So it's basically just moving to the right spot and standing there and then moving off at the right time. So it's just an even lamer version of the Mario Galaxy final boss. It's really boring. Mr. Blizzard Snow Slalom, I don't know how to say that word. We need to discuss the random resurgence of Mr. Blizzard in 2012 to 2013, and by that I mean the 2 games that he's in. He's one of our 2 touchscreen bosses. And apparently the most effective way to kill a snowman is by throwing giant snowballs at it. I'll keep that in mind for next time. You roll yourself into a ball by sliding the touchscreen, and you have to collect snow coins while avoiding the snowballs that Mr. Blizzard throws. The bigger your snowball is, the more damage you'll do. It's alright, and it's definitely better than the Chain Chomp boss battle. King Bob-Omb's Court of Chaos. That's a mouthful. This is also the second touchscreen minigame. Line up a path from the bomb to the cannon by sliding these panels. I'm not really a fan of this one at the time of writing because it's midnight and I'm tired and I couldn't figure out how to do it and I was getting mad. But you know, in a good state of mind, this one's probably okay. When he gets angry, because yes, bosses have 2 phases in this game, another row is added. The only reason I didn't bring up the second phases before is because they didn't really add anything worth mentioning. Dry Bowser's Brain Bonk. It's a memory game where Dry Bowser will yell out random buttons that you have to remember and press in order. As if a giant scary turtle dragon corpse skeleton thing wasn't scary enough, imagine it just starts yelling random letters at you. And D-pad. Why is he making sheep noises? In the first phase you have to remember 3 buttons, and in his second phase you have to remember 4 buttons. But on his final attack you have to remember 5. I mean, I like it I guess, but it's such a simple concept that I would have been impressed if they messed it up. It's literally just a memory game. I also find it funny that it has brain in the title when it's the skeleton boss, and skeletons on their own don't typically have those. I'll admit that I'm probably not the first person to point that out, but then again I might be because it's Mario Party Island Tour and nobody cares about this game anymore. Bowser's Sky Scuffle. And here we are, the final boss of Mario Party Island Tour. And it's easily the best one. I mean, it's the most boss fight feeling boss fight in the entire game. It's kind of difficult to explain, at least for me because I suck at explaining things. But basically you have to go around like this platform thing and hit blocks to get cannonballs. Then you'll end up at a tower with a cannon on it, and you can shoot Bowser with the cannonballs. And the cannon is controlled with the tilt controls, unfortunately. But I mean, I can live with it, I guess. And it's definitely better than whatever Bowser's Yahtzee garbage was from Mario Party 9. But just because it's the best boss minigame, that doesn't mean I'm gonna complain. Again, tilt controls, ew. And the floating platform segment just drags on for too long. Like, I've already got all 6 cannonballs already, let me go. The music's pretty good though. It has that we're trying to save the world from the evils of bubbles kind of feel to it. You know what I mean? So those were all the boss minigames in Mario Party Island Tour. I definitely think 9s are better overall, even if they do just feel like glorified minigames for the most part. And I mean, sure, these definitely are more boss fight feeling, but I had more fun with the ones in Mario Party 9. And now we're on to the puzzle minigames, and while it may seem like there's 5, there's only really 3. 3 House, Emergency Hexit, and Star Turn. The remaining 2 are just multiplayer versions of 3 House and Emergency Hexit. 3 House is just a very simple puzzle game. You have to line up at least 3 of a certain item to clear them, and you can line them up in vertical, horizontal, or diagonal lines. You want to clear them all as fast as possible to get points, and so they don't fill up the screen, which means you lose. I mean, yeah, it's fun, but it's the most standard puzzle game of all time, so of course it is. It's like every NDCube Mario Party game just has to have a really basic puzzle game. We're 2 for 2 so far, so that's a 100% puzzle game appearance rate. It's enjoyable, but not all too memorable. That's all I've got to say about 3 House. Moving on. Emergency Hexit. Use the stylus to slide around hexagon panels and group up at least 6 of them to clear them. You're also on a timer, so you're going to have to act quickly. Clearing panels gets you points and additional time, so this game could technically go on forever. Occasionally, shell panels will appear that you have to slide to the edge of the board so your character can kick them. The shells come in groups of 1, 2, or 3, and you get the corresponding amount of seconds depending on how many shells there were. So for example, if there were 2 shells, you get 2 more seconds. Poison mushrooms will also appear on the board randomly, and they'll knock off 5 seconds from your time every few seconds. In order to get rid of the poison mushroom, you have to clear a group of panels that is touching the poison mushroom. I actually enjoy this one too. It took me a bit to get the hang of it, but once I did, it was actually really fun. It's also really satisfying to watch a bunch of panels eliminate themselves one after the other. Good minigame, it's better than 3 House. Star Turn. This one confused me at first, and to be honest, it still kind of does. You have to rotate these lines to box in the stars so you can move on to the next round. It's weird and it's kind of fun, but it just gets way too confusing way too fast. Now you can make fun of me for being dumb, but it's really tough to figure this out when they make things so small on an already tiny screen. It's okay, but it's definitely my least favorite of the puzzle minigames. Like I mentioned earlier, the other 2 minigames on this screen are just multiplayer versions of 3 House and Emergency Hexit. I don't know why these aren't just modes within the minigames themselves, but whatever. And also, I don't know why Star Turn doesn't have a multiplayer version. I feel like it would have been entirely possible. Now we're moving on to the final category of minigames, the extras. And as the name implies, these just would not fit into any of the other categories. Mainly because they use the defining features of the Nintendo 3DS system. Not the 3D though. The choicest voice. This is the single player version of Utter Nonsense from earlier, if you remember that. And this game uses the 3DS's microphone to mimic character voices as best as possible. Kind of. You see, you don't actually imitate the voice itself. This is because the 3DS's microphone is so bad that it would be completely unable to detect if you were accurately replicating the voice. So what you really have to do is get your voice, or really any other noise, to mimic the wavelength of the character voice line, or at least get as close as possible. This means you can get a perfect score just by tapping, or if you actually play the official character voice line itself, you can get 0 points. It's not really that fun, but it is pretty funny. The 3DS's microphone is so atrocious that any noise it records just sounds hilariously bad. It's one of those minigames you only really play once every 12 years, just to go, haha, the microphone is bad. I mean, here's some examples of the microphone on the 3DS just being the greatest microphone ever created. Goomba. This one uses the AR cards that came with literally every 3DS model for some reason. They never got rid of them. Unfortunately, I don't have my AR cards anymore except for this Metroid one with Metroid on it, which doesn't work. You can only use the basic question mark card. for some reason, I don't know why. So I was left with only one option. And the best part is, it works. It's not perfect, but the fact that it works at all is really surprising. So this means I do really have artistic talent. I will be selling this for $500 million. Anybody interested, let me know. So Goomba is a minigame where Goombas invade your desk and you have to shoot them. I don't really think I would have liked this one even if it wasn't using the AR cards, especially since you have to move the system around, and even then it's just kind of boring. And using the AR cards just makes it really tricky to do, because like if it's ever so slightly off screen, you have to kind of readjust, and it's just annoying. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm really tired of talking about mini games. This is the final mini game in Mario Party Island Tour, Sinking Feeling, which perfectly describes my mental state after playing all of these games and talking about them for however long it's been. Help me. You just have to climb up a tower that sprouts out of an AR card. You're supposed to physically move around the card to see it at different angles, but I just don't care enough to do that. Oh, and also the tower will sink into lava, so you have to climb before that happens, which is why it's called Sinking Feeling, because the tower is a sink. That's it, I'm done talking about minigames. Thank God, I'm so tired of talking about Mario Party Island Tour minigames. I never want to see the words Mario Party Island Tour minigames ever again. Still not done with this video, but whatever. There's a big chunk of it done, finally. In addition to free play, there's two other games in the minigame category: Time Attack and Hot Air Hijinks. I hate the word hijinks, there's too many dots in a row. So as you could probably guess, Time Attack is a game based all around speed. You have to complete 10 minigames as fast as you possibly can, while also trying to attempt the bonus objectives. These bonus objectives include not bumping into the wall and not running into the wall. Each completed objective gets 3 seconds taken off of your total time at the end. The minigames are the same each time you play this mode and are Magmathon, No Traction Action, Slow G, Tile Savvy, Gyro for the Gold, Quickest Cricket, Color Me Fast, Blown Hover, Mad Ladders, and Sub Trouble. Time Attack is whatever. I'm probably never going to revisit it after making this video. And for a mode all about speed, it kind of feels pretty slow. There's just a lot of loading and results screens that you've got to wait and click through. I feel like a better approach would have been going for a WarioWare style where they're all in succession without stopping. And I wish there were different levels. Playing through the same 10 minigames over and over again gets really boring really quickly. Like 5 levels consisting of 10 different games each. Maybe even make it 6 and have the boss minigames be the last minigame. I mean, I get the point is to play it over and over again to get a higher score, but that's just bound to get repetitive. And it does. And that's Time Attack. It's basically what you would expect. Unless you were expecting something more literal, in which case you were probably confused why I didn't start beating a clock with a hammer. Unfortunately, Hot Air Hijinks is really basic as well. You have to win either 3, 5, or 7 minigames depending on what you choose. Each minigame you win, you go up. Whenever you win the set amount of minigames, you reach the top. And that's it. There's nothing changed about the minigames at all, unlike Time Attack where at least they were just single player. The only thing that's slightly different is that there's only 1 winner and 3 losers. Basically, if you come in first, you win, and anything else, you lost. I'm really grasping at straws here. Please help. Also, I still hate the word hijinks. I have no idea what the point of these are, or what they even are, period. This is going to be difficult to explain since it's entirely reliant on Streetpass, which is still functional, yes, but really difficult to use because barely anybody carries around their 3DS anymore. Speaking of that, let's change things. If you still have a 3DS, bring it with you everywhere if possible. I mean everywhere, even court. Who knows, the judge might have one. After doing a little Googling, these don't even really seem to use Streetpass in an interesting way. Basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, you would just pass by somebody else who has the game and the Streetpass stuff set up, and go against a CPU that is equivalent to their difficulty level. I didn't do a very good job explaining it, but it just made no sense to begin with, so I'm sorry. Please don't kill me for explaining Streetpass stuff. It just feels like a really cheap and lazy way for them to have Streetpass mentioned on the box. Although I don't think Streetpass was really a selling point for anything on the 3DS. I highly doubt that there was someone who was on the fence about getting one but then immediately bought one after they saw that they could collect fake puzzle pieces. Or maybe it is a selling point, I don't know. I mean, I do like Streetpass, but I barely ever used its features in the games that had it. I mostly just used it for the puzzle and find me stuff. But it wasn't a selling point to me. I didn't want a 3DS because of fake puzzles. Don't try to frame me for that. So if you were like me and had nobody else to play Mario Party Island Tour with, you'd be out of luck. If Bowser Tower didn't exist, this is Island Tour's single player content and it's very different from Mario Party 9's. 9's was heavily based on the boards. I mean, that's basically all it was. Just play through all of the boards that don't include Donkey Kong to beat Bowser's minions. Island Tour switches things up by making it more boring. There's only one thing you do here. Play minigames. It's just a gauntlet of 30 minigames in a row, but instead of going up against normal CPUs, you go up against the greatest threat to humanity in the Mario series. Bubble clones. These are just model reskins of the playable characters, and I remember thinking these were so cool when I was younger for some reason. Like, oh wow, that's awesome. Soapy water in the shape of an Italian man. I want to be just like Bubble Clone Yoshi when I grow up. Safe to say, that hasn't happened. Yet. This mode just consists of going up against 3 bubble clones and one of 3 minigames. If you win, you move on to the next floor and it repeats until the end. Although every 5th floor there's a boss battle, but I already talked about those in the minigames section. And I can't forget the random Bowser events that happen. These can do one of 3 things. They'll either send you back a level or increase the level of the bubble clone by 1 or 2. The other things that it can land on all do the same thing, which is nothing. After you beat this mode for the first time, you unlock Bowser Jr., which is pretty cool, and he even gets some unique dialogue if you play this mode as him, so they at least kind of cared, I guess. Once you reach the top of the tower and destroy the bubble machine, Bowser's like, you didn't actually defeat me, so he sends you all the way back to the beginning, which means this mode doesn't really have an ending. That's dumb. It's like the video game equivalent of those YouTube shorts that are like, and this is why, and then the video starts over, so you watch it again because you're brainless watching YouTube shorts, and you're like, oh wow, the video's still going because of the loop. I actually kind of fell for this when I first played this game. I played Bowser Tower like 20 times because I was convinced there was an ending. There has to be an ending in there somewhere. There's not. And because I've always wanted to be just like Bowser Tower from Mario Party Island Tour, I will follow in its footsteps by not having an ending to this segment. So if you were like me and had nobody else to play Mario Party Island Tour with, you'd be out of... Island Tour includes party points in a very similar way as Mario Party 9. You get them for playing the game and you can spend them on stuff, such as music and character voices, which are life's necessities. There aren't any new cars to buy, which I believe might have something to do with the fact that there aren't any cars in this game. No constellations or new boards either. I can live without the constellations, I guess, but no new boards is kinda lame. Mario Party 9 had 2 that you could unlock. Maybe they could have kept one of the boards that was already in the game as an unlockable, like Shy Guy Shuffle City, since it's not the easiest to play unless you have a bunch of people who are just as sad and pathetic as you are, also known as Mario Party Island Tour players. Although it would really suck if you worked for hours and hours just to get enough party points to unlock the final board and it turns out it's one you can't even play without others. I would be so angry I'd fire up that email again. It's really difficult to form an opinion on something like this because it's not really a mode that you interact with outside of a few instances. I guess the shop interface is kinda weird and hard to navigate, but like, I'm never really gonna go in here, so I don't care at all. So that was Mario Party Island Tour. Does it deserve to be forgotten the way it has? I don't really think so, but I'm one of those weird people that doesn't think any game deserves to be forgotten, especially the really bad games, cause like, what's that saying? Those who do not learn from history are doomed to make Paper Mario Sticker Star again? I guess they didn't learn. And I'm not trying to make it seem like Island Tour is this obscure game that only 12 people have ever heard of, but it is certainly one of the least talked about Mario Party games. It's for sure on one of those top 20 Mario games you've never heard about before lists on some bogus gaming journalism website. And I can see why it's kind of forgotten. And I'm not trying to make it seem like I hate this game at all, because I really don't. It is just so painfully generic and simple. It has almost no personality of its own outside of bubbles. And some of the music and sound effects are just straight up ripped from Mario Party 9. I get this game had a really short development cycle, but come on. So for their second attempt, NDCube did alright, I guess. It's definitely a downgrade from Mario Party 9, but that might have to do with the nature of the system that it's on. The 3DS and portable consoles in general just aren't the greatest fit for Mario Party games or party games in general, in my opinion. It's way more difficult to make a multiplayer-focused experience on a handheld because it's a lot harder to actually play the multiplayer. For Mario Party 9, for example, you would only need 1 copy of the game, the Wii, and 4 controllers to get 4 players. Island Tour would still only require 1 copy of the game, but 4 3DS systems for 4 players. It's just way more practical to get a Wii and 4 Wii remotes. At the end of the day, literally none of this even matters, because nobody cares about Mario Party Island Tour anymore. And if you do, be quiet, because that just completely invalidates everything I just said.